First of all, I have to say I love the word disruptor. I think we all have the potential to be disruptors, and that is my mission on this earth, is to disrupt the innate patterns that we have learnt from childhood, the patterns that we hold true to ourselves and we repeat time and time and time again.
The Podcast Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.
Welcome back to the Podcast Empire Women in Business series, where we help purpose-driven women launch profitable podcasts to build their brand and their influence. I'm your host, Tracy Cook, and today I want to bring to you a phenomenal guest who's making waves in the world of business and transformation. This series is a great way to find out which women are impacting the world in their chosen industry. And today we have somebody truly remarkable. And as you embark on your podcasting journey, make sure you check out the show notes below for your free podcasting resources and to connect with our guest. Now, today's guest is no other than Mary Hitchcock. And here's what I know about Mary is when women want to live a more empowered life and have self-trust and love in themselves, they go to Mary. And she knows how to really empower you with resources, structure, techniques, and strategies that is helping many women become empowered and have self-trust in their daily lives. So join us as we delve into her journey, her insights, and the strategies Mary has used to overcome challenges and achieve success, and the practical advice that has helped her get where she is today, because she is a transformational and mindset coach, speaker, and podcast host. So let's dive into this empowering conversation. Welcome to the Podcast Empire, Mary.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm so grateful to be here.
Well, we love people like you in the Women in Business series. And I love bringing people like you, experts in their field, that are servant leaders and they're visionaries and they're disruptors and they're thought leaders. And we're literally changing people's lives. Tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got into the space that you're in now to be able to do that.
First of all, I have to say I love the word disruptor. I think we all have the potential to be disruptors, and that is my mission on this earth, is to disrupt the innate patterns that we have learnt from childhood, the patterns that we hold true to ourselves and we repeat time and time and time again. And they're not true. We need to break those patterns, disrupt those patterns, so that we can just really embrace our lives as the beautiful beings that we are. And my journey is that I was diagnosed with complex PTSD at the age of 45. And it's been a journey of being able to work out, because nobody knew what was wrong with me. And I always perceived that something was wrong with me. And I went down this path of self-discovery of who I was and what having trauma actually meant to me, even though I did not know what trauma was at that time. I was just me being me. And it led me to recognize the patterns that we have. And so I'll give you an example. So one pattern is if you hide yourself away from the world, hide yourself away from people, and just try to live yourself isolated and not engage with the community around you, comes from a pattern of when you were younger, of not having anybody that you could trust. So therefore, the world is untrusting, people are untrusting. And by having that action from very early in childhood, we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our knowledge. We don't trust that we have important things to say in the world. So we don't go out there and envisage ourselves, because we don't trust that people will actually love what it is that we have to say, what it is that, that we can get them to envisage their lives with. So to be able to trust ourselves and our knowledge was one of the key factors for me in absolutely transforming my life.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because there is so much strength in people's vulnerabilities and sharing their stories as well, because it literally helps change the world. It helps changes people's perspectives, and it gives a broader understanding of, why is this happening to me? Is it only me? I didn't know I could get diagnosed at 45 with complex PTSD. Is that a thing? Do I have that too? So that's why your story, Mary, can just resonate with so many people along those same lines as well. Now, you've gone through incredible self-discovery and self-trust and self-love to get you into the position of expertise where you are today. And I tell you what, Mary, I love the word disruptor, because we have to critically think and question everything to be the visionaries of tomorrow like you are. So where did you step into the space of empowering other women to be able to self-love and self-trust themselves? How did you step into that?
Oh, I have been an equine body worker for 35 years, and it led me down a path of working with horses in trauma, and which then sort of led me on the path of many of the people who were working with the horses were transferring their own trauma onto the horse. So the horse was suffering from secondary trauma. And so, or transference trauma is what I call it. So to be able to help the horses, I felt that I had to help people. I had to help people get out of their trauma and to start loving themselves, knowing themselves, and trusting themselves, so that they could have this beautiful relationship with their horse that was totally based on trust, companionship, rather than the needy want of having someone to listen to them, even if it was their horse, for them to dump on every day, and giving their horse their trauma. And just to be able to witness the absolute difference of the relationship between the women and their horses, once we got them to love themselves, to trust themselves, and to nurture themselves through whatever trauma that they have been through, the relationship with their horses just brought me to tears quite a lot. It was just transformational and very beautiful to watch.
Now, this is something, I love how you brought that up, because that is something that we don't think of. We don't think that we can transfer our trauma onto our animals. I mean, we've all been around people that, we pick up on their vibration and their frequency and their energy, and we take on their trauma when they're talking to us about their story or their event or what their experience. We all know that, but that is something so enlightening and so empowering just in what you said then, Mary, because we don't think of that. I mean, we know there's, the special needs animals and things like that. We mainly think of dogs, right? We don't think of horses and all the other animals that we can transfer that secondary trauma, transferable trauma into them. I'm just blown away, because that's something that I didn't really think of. So I have learnt something new today, Mary. So that's my biggest takeaway from today's conversation. I love it. Now, when we're actually seeing that, we've got awareness. So say if somebody is listening here now and they're feeling, that word stuck. They're not quite sure which road to take. They don't know who they are. They don't know why they're feeling the things that they're feeling or thinking the things that they're thinking. What would you say to somebody in that kind of situation with what you do?
So if somebody is stuck, it can relate back to trauma of the past, where they're being in the flight, fight, freeze mode. So stuckedness, as I call it, is part of the freeze mode. And one of the best things to do with that is to take action. Any small action. Say, for example, if I was going to go for a walk and I sat down and go, oh, I can't be bothered. What we're doing is we're teaching our bodies to remain in that stuck place. And we're not being able to trust within ourselves that that action is going to get us out of or take us further to our future. So any action towards what it is that we're going to teaches our body trust, and it teaches us to allow ourselves to be able to open up to what is possible. So one small step of action, whatever that may be.
And things don't change unless things change. There's no use kind of saying, oh, I hate being stuck, but not actually taking action to do anything about it. Even if it's just going out the house and checking your mail, right? Just small little
Absolutely.
daily consistent actions, the compound effect leads to bigger things, right? I love that, Mary. That is such a practical tip. And for those that maybe have gone through that trauma, and like yourself, like myself, it's very common. We're sharing our stories. We're finding, the courage in our story, and we're not using it as an anchor anymore. If somebody has changed their situation, what's another tip or strategy or resource that you could share to help them maintain that awareness and those breakthroughs for them?
To be able to maintain that awareness for them, a really good exercise at night is when we go to sleep is what is called the I am phase. And it takes us into that deep relaxation, and it's where our wishes and our dreams are created from. So instead of being on a computer before we go to sleep or being on our phones or whatever it is when we hop into bed, is to hop in and make those statements. I am love, I am trust, I am, and really own that goddess self and really root into that moment what you truly believe that you are, and allow that to carry you into your dream state, which helps us propel and build our muscle of self-love, our self-trust.
Absolutely. And the same in the mornings, right? We want to have action before reaction. So not rolling over, grabbing our phones, and scrolling through media, taking on all that energy for the start of our day as well. Kind of get up, have your shower, have your breakfast, do some exercise, whatever it is, then go and do your emails or whatever, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's great that you did the morning routine, because one of the things is that we actually do our morning routine from muscle memory. And there is absolutely no thought in the process of me getting out of bed, going to switch on the kettle, turning my phone on. If we do that day in, day out, there's the muscles in our bodies just learn to do it on rote. So there's actually no thought involved in that at all. So we need to switch up our daily routines every day. But one of the best ways to be able to control our bodies of a morning, or to make a difference within our bodies, is if as soon as we wake up, we sit there consciously before we do anything else and count back from 100 to 0. And people go, that's really easy. It's not when you first wake up. And then you do that, and then you can cut back from 50 to 0, then 25 to 0, and then from 10 to 0, which will then bring you into a state of presence. So eventually you can just go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and to bring you really present when you wake up first thing in the morning.
That is a great tip, and I'm definitely going to try that myself. Because somebody even said, I was listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza, they said to change those neural pathways to have, better programming, to change our programming. If you normally brush your teeth with the right hand, brush it with the left hand, change up our routines. And you would do that after you would implement that strategy you just shared with us as well. What is a way that when people feel like there's the breakdown before the breakthrough. I'm sure you've seen this with many of your coaching clients, Mary. I know, from personal development that this is a thing. This is a thing. So what would be a breakthrough indicator for somebody that's going through that transformation?
The transformation is when you're going through that breakdown to the breakthrough is just to love yourself through it and know that this is just a normal space for you to be held beautifully by, whoever it is that you believe in is holding you, whether you believe in spirit guides or God or universe source energy. Just know that you're being really held within that space. And the best thing that I can suggest is to breathe, just to focus on your breath and just breathe, and also just to learn simple techniques to help calm the vagus nervous system down and just to bring that back into balance.
Do you have
And
cold showers or cold, like ice baths as well?
I have cold showers. Yes, that is a really good thing in order for you to, because hopping into the cold shower, I haven't got into the cold bath yet, but it helps regulate your body and it takes your breath in. So you have to control your breath. And the whole thing of being able to regulate that is to control your breath. And then your body doesn't reset.
I love that. I love asking people that question as well, because for so many years I've had cold showers and each morning I'm like, and it's really empowering because we're talking about empowerment and self-trust and self-love and stepping out of our comfort zones and growing and evolving and we don't have to go and spend heaps of money at the gym if we don't want to. We can just simply have a 30-second cold shower, right?
Absolutely. And when you go with your breath, what you're doing is you're putting your nervous system into fight flight. So you're creating nervousness within your system. So next time you do your shower, just breathe. Just concentrate on your breath and breathe in and then blow out through a pretend straw. So you want your exhale to be longer than your inhale. And
That's what I'm missing.
Yeah, so jump in and then concentrate on your breath and just keep focusing on your breath and you'll find your cold shower is a piece of cake.
See, after all of these years, I'm still, I've got to breathe through it.
Breathe through it. Just concentrate on the breath, and the breath is, because you've heightened your nervous system by going into that panic of the breath. So you're breathing from your throat upwards. So you want a nice, really big, deep breath, but to extenuate the out breath is just pretend you're breathing through a straw.
That is a valuable tip indeed. And because you deal with women, you deal with transformation, you deal with beautiful animals, and everyone is evolving and growing and stepping into the best versions of themselves, and that is something unique and different for everybody, obviously. But when women want to live that empowered life, this is your area of expertise. What kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today?
The biggest message that I could leave with them today is to trust. Learn how to trust. And through my program, I teach specified techniques on how we can teach ourselves to trust and trust ourselves. But the key for me is to take action. No matter how small a step forward, it's taking action.
Action creates change, and change creates a better mindset, better environment, and better connections and communities. Mary, what you're doing in this space is absolutely amazing. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. And if you like this episode, please share this with your friends to empower other women in business. And remember to check out the show notes so you can connect with the amazing Mary Hitchcock, our wonderful special guest, and also get instant access to the free podcasting resources below. We will see you in the next episode of the Women in Business series inside the podcast empire. Thank you, Mary, and we'll see you in the pod.
The Podcat's Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.